All right, welcome back to the Good Leader Podcast. I'm your host, John Martinez, with our co-host, Dr. Dave motherfucking Miller, and then our special co-host, Alexa Buerger. And we are going to be talking about Memorial Day, some dynamics between relationship and men. Miguel, go ahead and put the intro right there. Let's fucking go. So, Miguel, I was gonna tell you, dude, how was Memorial Day? How was the Murph?
The Murph actually, man, it turned out great, man. It was a great turnout. We had a lot of people show up. You know, it was a good energy, good vibe.
Tell me you were number one, Dave. That's when I hear I say you were number one.
I finished first.
Was Alexa trying to keep up with you? And you're like, hell no. Was
Was
Alexa trying to keep up with you? And you're like,
no, I didn't even try. I was like kind of tailing behind you at the beginning of the run, and then I was like, that's the last time I'll see Dave.
Yeah. There was one guy who got a little bit ahead of me.
Yeah.
He started the last run before me, but I passed him.
You're like, hey, you broke his spirit.
Yeah. It's like, have a nice day, dude. Yeah.
See you next Tuesday.
No, that's good. That's good. It seemed like it was a good turnout. I saw that. I like that. I kept seeing not only your guys' gym, but my friend, he works at a gym called the Lift Department, and they did something good for Memorial Day. It seems like a lot of gyms are now kind of doing little events, which I think is cool, kind of more community-based type of stuff.
They let me do like a little speech, which on normal occasions would be a bad idea, but you know.
I heard it was a good speech.
It was great.
I heard that. Someone actually told me
was
they said
great.
Dave did a good speech. I was like, damn, that's good.
It was one of the better speeches I've heard.
What was like, what do you remember
Ever.
from it? Like, I want to hear something powerful that Dave said, like, don't fucking quit, you motherfucker.
I think that
I didn't scold anybody.
there was no scolding involved. The piece that actually there was a piece that I remembered when I was halfway through the push-ups, which sucked. And it was towards the end, after you had kind of described like his story, you said, oh, this is something that, you know, he did for us, and this is a small way that we kind of like honor and give back to the people that gave so much for us. And during my push-ups, it was like, this sucks. And then I was like, no, other people did way worse.
It could be way worse.
So, but it was a really beautiful speech, and hands down, like it was great.
Actually, I did. I swear to God, today I saw someone from the gym, and that's what they said. They said they'd give it a good speech, and I was
Yeah,
like,
he did.
Yeah, that's good. Nice. And that's a good thing. You never realize the impact sometimes of your words. Like you're not even really you're thinking about it, but you're not realizing that people actually like they carry it with them more.
Well, that was the thing. It's like I don't do well scripted, you know. And even though like it showed up, it's like I just had like a bunch of things swimming in my head. It was only when like I stepped out in front of the crowd that something came out in like a pattern, and I was like, okay, that went over well.
It's better that way because it's authentic. People can tell you actually mean what you're saying. You say what you mean. You're not just like reading off a teleprompter type of situation.
No, that's kind of what we do. That's kind of what we do here. You know, we just kind of go off the cuff.
Yeah.
So
Improving is a good art.
That what?
Improving is a good art form.
Yeah, I was reading because have you watched the roast of Kevin Hart? Have you guys seen that?
no.
So the lady that had like one of the funniest ones, I think the teleprompter wasn't working during her set, but she had like one of the best sets. And she came off. They even said, they're like, how did you come off like that? She's like, I don't know. I just kind of gave it to God and said, did what I did. Yeah. And I roasted everyone. That's what he got in.
I gave it to God and then I roasted it.
God said roast their ass.
Those don't say sentence.
Hey, sometimes he wants you to.
Man, yeah.
And then today we're gonna talk about your the little thing you've been doing on Instagram. I don't even say a little thing. I feel like it caught like you started off with like one segment where you were talking about women. Let's talk about why we hate men, and then it turned into like something else.
No, that's not. That's not what I said. I love men.
That's what I heard. Jeez.
I love men, and I feel like a lot of women hate men, and it pisses me off. It actually makes me very angry.
That's what I liked about it, that you're being very like coming at it that way, like saying, hey, you should know this about men, or taking questions, because me and Dave always talk about that. There's like a weird misunderstanding between men and women that doesn't need to be there, and not wanting to accept like our roles and how we can help each other. And And sometimes people think that like, oh, men don't value women. I said every man I know values a woman, but we're also not unrealistic. But we also know that there's things that you guys do that we can do, and there's things that we do that you can't do. It's not like we think any less of you. I've never done that.
Like Murph in 52 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
48. What was it?
48 flat.
48. Sorry, 48 flat.
He said it's a world record. Guinness Book of
Not the world. No.
So what are some of the interesting things you've been?
Well, I'll preface this by saying I didn't expect any of this part of this. Like, I didn't expect people to be as interested in it. I wanted to do like a talk to the camera challenge where I just like upload a video every day for 30 days because I was like, I haven't talked to the camera in a long time and I really should start doing that again. So the point of it was for me to just get back in the habit of like saying things that I wanted to share.
Yeah.
And so on this particular day, I had filmed something and the theme was unhinged things that women don't understand about men. And I filmed it. I posted it at like 10:30 at night, and I was like, all right, this is a shit post. I might delete this in a few days, but you know, at least I did it. Like my goal for myself was just to post it. So I posted it, and I woke up the next morning, and it had like 6,000 views, which is more than what I normally get on a reel. And I was like, that's weird. And then it continued. I think right now it's at 107,000 views or something.
Oh, that's good.
So a decent amount of people have seen it now, and a lot of people have a lot to say. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that this one topic that's really interesting to me would actually be interesting to other people. And it especially seems to be interesting to men. And I don't know if it's just because the algorithm was like, oh, guys like this, let's feed it to a bunch of guys, or if it's genuinely content that men don't have a lot of access to. Like, maybe you guys can speak to that, because I feel like I, as a woman, have been interested in relational dynamics, and I've been looking at all that stuff. I've been listening to that shit for years.
I think there's a good portion of it is that men that are really like just kind of coming out like into the world these days. It's, man, they don't know where they stand anymore. You know, and so it's like somebody help me. I mean, nobody taught me anything, you know, except that, you know, somehow I'm the source of like all the world's problems, you know.
You are, dude.
And, yeah, well, I've been told that several times. You know, the Kennedy assassination, hole in the ozone layer. That's all my fault. So, you know, I'll take ownership of that. But yeah, but it's like there's not like a real practice of raising men anymore, you know. And so then you're out, you just get thrown out there and expect to know what to do, and you're just floundering.
I think like you said too, is like, I think there's 90% of what I see girls post is always negative towards men. It's more about how they were done wrong, about how toxic masculinity, or how somehow the way that even if our political beliefs don't align with theirs, is because we're just too stupid to understand. Well, like, they know better. I mean, you can even see that as this is a thing that had nothing to do with men, but it's like just a roast of Kevin Hart, right? Where you see Chelsea Handler going at it like, oh, look at this, and it's like, it's a roast. It's supposed to be funny, and that's what I think a lot of people.
It still applies.
Yeah. And so I think when you post something that's more like for a positive, it's not even like just patting men on their back. It's more like saying, hey, let's try to understand each other. That's always more of a positive spin on it. And there's other girls that do it too, but you guys are the minority, and the majority is a lot of like, you know, I got done wrong in high school, and men are pieces of shit, and why can't I find a good man that will just let me be a, you know, boss babe and step all over him?
And so imagine like coming into manhood and just being browbeaten by that on a constant level. I mean, so
that makes it different.
Yeah.
It's really upsetting. I think a lot of women have this belief about men, and then it gets perpetuated. And like, I've had terrible experiences with some men, but that's some men. And I've also had really great, like, even martial arts. I am in close proximity to a lot of men very frequently, and there's so many great guys, and there's like so many genuinely great men that women just like don't. I can't get on board with the whole men suck thing, because it's not true. But I have empathy for it, and I understand like that mentality comes from a lot of wounding, and it also comes from a lack of willingness to see the good and it's like men and women, there's toxic masculinity, there's also toxic femininity. They're like both sides have potential negatives, and any person, like, we all have masculine and feminine, so I could lean into my toxic masculinity or my toxic femininity at any point, That's a lot to say.
Yeah.
Femininity. Sorry about the femininity. So
You know, you didn't trip over it until you repeated it.
listen back and we'll hear that. But I don't know. I feel like either like men and women can both be toxic in different ways, and the perpetuation of it happens when you look at the other person and you point your finger and you don't take accountability for like your half. Like, yes, sure, some men may show up not great in relationships, and sometimes it's because they weren't raised properly, but sometimes it's in response to what she's doing, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And that's the piece about relational dynamics that I get like really heated and passionate about, is people don't understand, like, well, maybe this person is showing up this way because you're doing this repeatedly.
Yeah, there's an action
and
and a reaction.
there's an interaction that happens. And so I feel like in a healthy relationship, you have to take the onus of like what you're doing and what your part is, and the other person has to do the same. And you have to be willing to see each other's perspective, and that's the only way things will improve.
Now, first of all, though,
Get better.
I think a huge error in communication is applying the word toxic to something that's as singularly definable as, say, masculinity or femininity.
That's a
You
good
know,
point, yeah.
I there's toxic
It
behavior.
makes it a bad thing.
But to attach it to, you know, something like that, then it's like you are, you know, really attributing, you know, something negative to just the nature of somebody.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
having a disagree, like
know?
having someone's traits is like if you already put it in a bad like context already.
absolutely.
Like it's like bad dog.
Yeah, bad framing is
Yeah,
actually a
yeah,
better way.
yeah.
You know, you framed it entirely incorrectly when you approach it that way.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing toxic about masculinity. There's nothing
No.
toxic about femininity. There is toxic behavior,
Yeah.
and you can point that out, but you have to separate it from, like, you know.
And I think, like you said, I agree with the people. Like a lot of it comes from people. This is just my feeling. If you come out of a relationship and you can only say the negative part of what your ex did and not what you did to contribute to that, then there's no learning. So if you tell someone and they've been in a relationship for 5-6 years and all they can say is that you know their ex is a piece of shit and they just didn't end. And what about you? No, I was perfect. I didn't. Then that's like, okay, well, there's things as guys we know. Like for myself, I know I'm very, because of my background, I'm very more regimented. I like things to be a certain way. That's how I am. And I always tell people, but I'm very upfront about that. So when you meet people, they kind of have to know that about you. And then it's like something, because some people like things, but not always, I guess, for the long term. And they probably feels the same way. When you have a structure and you understand, like for me, the gym, some people look at it like a hobby, but it's not a hobby to me. It's more like, it's where I get stress relief. It's more part of my lifestyle, I guess. So sometimes in the relationships like that I've seen that where it's created conflict for me, where it's like, why do you like the gym so much? Why do you like that? It's like, this is how I met you doing this already. And now now it's a conflict. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're kind of like explaining, well, I'm a guy. This helps with my stress relief. This helps with, you know, testosterone levels. This helps with being ready. Like this, would you prefer that I drink beer, watch, you know, football and not do shit? Like,
Yeah.
like what is the trade-off? And sometimes I think people don't see, you know, they don't see, they think they want something I don't. That's what I think about when girls say they want a nice guy. And I'm like, you don't really want a nice guy. A nice guy is probably going to be, he's not going to be assertive. He's not going to, but these things, but when you get your boy, you're not going to realize till you get it.
Yeah. Kind and nice are different.
Yeah.
Kind guys, we like. Nice guys,
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice guy.
No, yeah, you can't always be a good man and be a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but there are those things that are actually pillars, you know, to like the person that you are, you know, is where you build your foundations from. It is like working out and stuff like that. You know, you have to have those things be consistent at all times, you know. And if you jump into something with somebody, you know, who's going to try to throw that off, you know, then it's like now you have to rebuild yourself somehow, and you know you're starting at zero.
Who's been more receptive, girls or guys, like to give them conversation?
Honestly, guys, but I think it's because a lot of my videos are being pushed to guys, and I would argue, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with this viewpoint, but I understand where it's coming from. A lot of guys will say things like, oh, women just can't take accountability, so you're challenging them. I'm like, well, for women, not all, but for some women who do challenge to take accountability, the things that I present are by nature going to be a little bit more difficult, probably, because I am such like I'm an adamant believer in taking ownership and responsibility for your part in anything. And so for people who don't want to do that, you know, that's hard. But also, like, most of my content is being pushed to men just by nature of algorithm. So I can't say it's because women don't like it, because a decent amount of my following is women. I just don't think that they engage with it in the same way. And I don't know if it's like,
They don't want to hear it.
I don't know if it's because I don't know if it's how women operate. Like, okay, so there's certain pages that I've followed for years and I never comment on their stuff, but I love it and I learn a lot from it. But I'm just like, I don't need to comment. Like, I've learned a lot from this, and I'm wondering if maybe there's other women that operate the same way, and therefore they don't engage because they feel like they're getting the understanding that they need, and they don't need to, you know. But I've asked people like, oh, well, let me know in the comments below your thoughts. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm asking, you know, like, will you please do this? I don't know if the male brain is like, yes, we'll do it. And the female brain is like, I got other things to do. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why the engagement is the way that it is. But I do know that most of my videos get pushed out to men now because they're more responsive to it. But I don't know if it's, I don't know the reason why.
I think guys are probably there. To me, I would say that it's probably a mix of it. They're like, oh, they're hearing something positive in a more positive light. For the
Probably,
first
yeah.
time.
That might
Girls-
be some.
I mean, it's weird in the comment sections of things because there's a lot of times where I can see a positive post, and guys do it too. It's not just girls, but they'll say, you know, I think one time was something about completely not about politics. It was about something else, and then they're like, I hate Trump, and you're like,
Just out of nowhere.
All
and
right.
and you're like, all right, and it starts the whole thing. So like, I think for some people, they don't know how to respond without it being like some kind of emotional when it goes back to like in a negative context. Because I've seen that there's times when there's times where I posted stuff and if I feel like it's getting too negative, I'll take it down because I'm like, you're missing the point of the post that I'm making. Like, you're kind of not getting the point of it. Like, I posted up a video of a girl putting out a fire with the water bottle as this guy recorded, and I'm making the point of like here's a grown-ass man recording it, and this girl comes over and puts it out with a water bottle, and it shows like that, hey, this is that spectator kind of mentality, and also showing like that this is where showing like, I don't, guy or girl, you should be strong and assertive, and this girl went and did it what needed to be done, and this guy watched, right?
Yeah.
So I think with me and Dave and kind of what we talked about, I think we hold men more accountable than women, and the guys don't mind that. To us, it's like some guys, we get a lot of like, yeah, like I want to hear that. They want to be held to a certain standard because they feel better in that space. Yeah. For girls, I don't know. I used to hate this saying that girls just used to be like, be my piece. And I used to be like, be my piece. You're not my piece. Like, you want me to give you something that you are not giving me. And like that comes back to your action and reaction. And I think that comes back to like how you conduct yourself as a person. If you're not giving positive energy and conversation, and you're not even those things, but you expect them from other people because that's what you think you deserve, to me that's unrealistic, like unrealistic expectation. And I feel like a lot of people live in that space, and you can tell them all day long, but they're just gonna, it's like, you know, you might as well be talking to the wall.
I think a lot of modern dating has put unrealistic expectations into people's minds, and it creates a lot of issues. Like, I'll use safety as an example. I was listening to a podcast today that I actually really liked, and the guy that was talking, he specializes in like attachment theory, and he has really good work. And he was saying that the female equivalent of safety is like the male equivalent of peace. So like, women crave safety in a relationship in the way that men crave peace. Like, if you don't have it, it's kind of, you know, to hit a point where it's like, this is just a no-go.
Yeah.
But I think the challenge is that a lot of men have kind of understood how to create peace for themselves, regardless of whether or not a woman is present in his life. Like, I feel like you know what you need to do. You go to the gym, like you get that dialed in. And I think a lot of women, to no fault of our own, but we haven't really learned how to cultivate safety within ourselves. So when they get into a relationship, the expectation is, oh, well, this person's going to make me feel safe. And I feel like, if you're with a man, you should feel safe with him, but it's not his job to make you safe 100% of the time. Like, that's just, you have to do your own work too. And I feel like, per your point on, or I guess my point that came from your point on like unrealistic expectations, if you go in with the expectation that like, all of my problems will be resolved with this person being in my life now, you're setting a bar that's like just not, it's way too high. It's not feasible. And I do think that a lot of, and again, not necessarily that I agree with it, but I think a lot of women are angry because they feel like they should feel safe, but they still don't. And they're like, why don't I feel like this is how I should feel? Mm-hmm. And part of it is due to like culture. Part of it is due to maybe they don't have relational dynamics. Maybe in some situations, yeah, they are with someone who's like genuinely not safe, which in that case, I'd be like, maybe get out. That's your responsibility. But I don't know where I'm going with this. But it was just like, it's just interesting to me that I don't feel like men have an expectation of a woman to fulfill the same things for him in the way that women do for men. But maybe that's just,
I think one of the things that does come into play sometimes, though, is a lot of people will kind of exercise a certain form of projection where it's like, you'll say, hey, I get this. Why don't you?
Yeah.
And you're not actually, that's completely dismissing that you're dealing with a completely different physiology.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I mean, men and women, right, we were made to be different, we have different strengths and different struggles, and stuff like that. We're never actually meant to compete with each other, but complete each other.
Yeah.
And so you got to be able to figure out how that fits.
Yeah. Sorry.
That
was poetry.
Dave's a poet.
Didn't even know it. Sorry, you should continue.
I'm obviously still in speech mode from.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just
So,
firing
yeah.
all still.
Murph 2.0, let's go.
Murph's hanging over. So yeah, but no, it's there's a complete misunderstanding. As you're dealing with a different type of person.
No, but I agree with you. I've seen that same issue. This is just me, and I mean, I'm sure guys do it too, with insecurity, where I've dated people and they're insecure about things, and I'm like, it's not my job to make you not feel secure. I'm like, if I feel like I'm fat or ugly or whatever, there's nothing you could tell me. Like you could think, you're kind of like, to me, it's the equivalent of your external compliments are not going to fix internally what's going on with me. They may subside it for a while, may appease me, but to me, I look at it like it's sticking quarters in a game machine. Like you're basically just going to keep having to feed it. And I think that's what I see in relationships. I've seen these things where it's like they need their partner to keep feeding them, and at the moment they don't, then they feel like, well, I don't feel as pretty. And you're like, well, you have to have some internal level of confidence in how you feel and how you are. So that way, so it doesn't bring upon like, jealousy or other things that are now going to just destroy your relationship. You know what I mean? And I get it. Everyone wants what is it, external validation, or you want people to compliment you to a certain, especially your partner and things like that. But you also have to have somewhat internally, so you can't depend on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you completely outsource that stuff, it's not a long-term solution. I think the beautiful thing about relationships is a lot of the times we are wounded in relationship when we're like very young, like, maybe a parent wasn't there for us, and like that creates a deep wound, and you cannot heal that completely alone. Like you can do your own inner work on it, but I believe that there's certain things that like you're just not going to be triggered when you're alone the same way that you are in a relationship. And I am a proponent of co-regulation, in that like if I never learned how to soothe myself, I never learned like how to breathe, I'm not going to just magically wake up one day and be like, oh, now I know how to do it. Like you learn that from being around other people who can do it. So I do think, like, I kind of see both sides. I think that co-regulation is really important. So if you are someone who, for example, is really insecure, it can really benefit you to be around someone who does speak about themselves securely and speaks about you securely. But the thing is if you don't learn from that, you don't learn how to do it for yourself. That's where, you get caught in that trap of like, I need this person to do this for me. And I think that like the most healing relationship that I've been in is the one I'm in now. And it's like this person just showed up with such security that I eventually was like, oh, that's how you embody that. Now I know. And now I have learned. But it's, it's not like it's smooth sailing start to finish. Anyone who says like, you should go in 100% healed is it's unrealistic.
Yeah.
But I agree also that if you are just over indexing everything onto the other person, you're also setting yourself up for a vicious cycle that's like an addiction, basically. It's not healthy.
I thought of it like your jiu-jitsu that you had talked about last time. I think I even said that to someone this week about we were talking about something, and there's a difference between like training and, like you said, competing in a competition. In a relationship, it's real. Like it's real. You're on your own. You can't. And it's cool though. Then you got to understand that if you're single and you're on your own, that's easy. You do whatever you want. You answer to nobody.
Yeah.
You do. Like if you mess up something, who cares? But when you're in a relationship, it's a whole now you're in not necessarily a competition. It's just more real. There's someone's gonna, if you don't do what you're supposed to, they may be upset, if they don't do what you want to do, you may be upset. Now everything,
Accountability.
yeah, and it goes back to like becomes. So I thought of it in that way. Like when people
Yeah.
sometimes, oh, I'm better on my, like, yeah, it's easy on your own.
Yeah.
Any of us know that. Like anyone's been single, you're like, yeah, it's easy, but it's like it also can be lonely. You're gonna end up at some point maybe feeling like lonely because
Yeah.
you know there's a big difference between peace and being on your own so much.
I also
That's the place where you do discover what your non-negotiables are, the things that it's like
True.
you have to have, and you have to know going forward when you do get involved with somebody, you want to find. I mean, just from the word go, somebody who's going to support those things, or at least, or maybe even have them in common with you. You know, so that way those aren't shaken at all. But you can't just like, you know, make everything a non-negotiable too. You know, so it's like you know, a few core things. You know, I think it's like I was out for a run not too long ago, and some random girl I ran by. Like, as I say, what are you gonna do to get like a date with a guy like you? And I was like, also, well, one, you got to be at least as interested in being fit as I am. And two, you can never vote Democrat. Yeah. She's like, well, I got a great personality. I'm like, if you don't understand how those two things count to what your personality is, then we don't have a chance at all.
It's like a big blue red flag.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, that big hoop in your nose really, by the way.
Like this,
So.
I like my hair.
No, yours is fine. You're talking about the big ring, you know,
the
that's
whole ring?
yeah, that's somebody like
The
puts,
septum one.
Yeah.
it's weird because that has become like
it's like the thing you attach a leash to.
That has become like
Really?
yeah, it's a thing. Like you'll see
Okay.
that they're like you see that you avoid it at all costs. It's like
It's funny because I thought about getting the septum piercing for like maybe a month, and then I was like, nah, I can't do it. And I haven't done astrology readings or anything in a long time, and I'm like, I definitely can't do it.
Yeah, no, it's just those things that you see that oxen have. You know, it's like, why?
you're saying you're stubborn like a bull.
Right? Exactly.
I think they're cool, but only some people can pull them off. Some people.
It's like
Certain tribes and
Yeah.
some far-flung.
I've got
places.
one on one side. I'm like, that's plenty of metal in my face for me.
What's the interesting one you learn on the other end that men should, or what is it? Men should know about women. Me and Dave, we just said there. I mean, you guys are just all different. You guys are like,
Yeah, I think it's been really interesting.
I think for us is we just have to be able to improvise, you know, the whole way through because
Yeah.
there's always going to be like some card up the sleeve, you know. That's at some point you go and you, oh, what play do I make now? You know.
I think I don't know if it's the most interesting, but I guess what comes to mind first for me was like I posted a video a couple days ago, and it was like these are like the basic needs that all women have, and it was like, you know, they need to feel safe, they need to feel cherished, they need to feel seen, and they need to feel. I think the last one was understood. I can't even remember what I do.
I saw that.
And so I was sharing it more so that like so that guys could understand like the psychological underpinnings of like this is what the deep need is, but the way that a woman will experience that is going to vary. Some women, if you bring her flowers, oh my God, you have just made her life. Some women, you bring her flowers, she's not going to give a shit. Like, so the way, you know, like the actions that you take, that's up to her to communicate. But I was trying to communicate like these are the underlying needs. Figure out what you need to do to meet those needs for her, and you'll probably. And so many men commented and were like, hey, this isn't exactly helpful, or, oh, this isn't really telling us like anything. I'm like, you have to fucking ask her. Like, I can't tell you what every woman wants.
You know how much flowers cost.
They're like, well, can you give us some examples? So I was like, all right, fine. So I'm probably going to have to make an example video of like, here's some examples of things. But even then it's like, you have to learn your person. Like, it's not, I can't tell you what every woman wants because I don't know. But I can tell you that every woman biologically is not going to thrive if she feels threatened by you. Like, I can tell you that. But, you know, it's like, so I don't think I answered your question at all. But I found it interesting.
But kind of did answer because for guys, I think I don't know, David, we agree. Every woman is like different, and their needs and their wants are very different. Like, and a lot of times to me, I think the way I've seen it explained with men is that we're like. Man, we compartmentalize. If it's like a food tray, right? Like we put our food is all separate. Our main course is women, they said it's like spaghetti, everything just fucking thrown into it. It doesn't make any sense what's going on. And I feel like that is because I've never met one girl where I'm like, oh yeah, you guys are like the same. Like
Yeah,
they're very different. And even in, I think being in the military law enforcement, I've seen out of 10 girls, there's 2 that really fit into that environment, and they were either one had brothers or were raised had a good relationship or a strong relationship with their dad. And so they understand men. They see them as partners and they see them as assets, then not as, something to like compete against or go against. And so that's why I think a lot of men are very, and I think sometimes girls don't see with guys in that sense of like, some of the words I think people throw around, it can make guys, I don't know if Dave feels the same way. You're just like, no, I'm not going to deal with her. Like, I'm going to not interact with her because the words she's kind of saying make you feel like it's already it feels volatile, and it's not even towards you. It's just her nature feels already. And I've seen that even just in the gym.
Adversarial from the word go.
And I've seen that a lot at the gym where when you hear a girl mention like, oh, guys, and then the girl all of a sudden no one interacts with her, especially guys, right? And they don't realize you basically said, hey, I'm like a big warning beacon. Don't even try to be friendly to me. Be like and they're like, and it creates this weird energy. So I don't know how to create. So I think guys are
when you ask somebody out and then her friend comes at you, it's like, I thought you liked me.
It's the life of a pimp. Yes,
unbelievable.
Dr. Pimp over there.
But no. And going back to your post, what you said, I think one of the fundamental things that I drew from that, I mean, there are kind of these underlying principles that women like do need. Now that can be manifest in different ways and all that sort of stuff. But what I noticed with what you outlined, it does fit in with like, a man being there as a protector and a provider.
Yeah.
And so it's like the man has really got to, it's kind of incumbent on them to really figure out what they got to do in that capacity to satisfy those needs for his female, or whether he can or not. And if he can't, then he's really got no business being there. So
You heard it first. I think that's a really strong point.
What are some crazy questions that you got?
I can't really, I'm not going to disclose people's personal information, but I will say that as a general, I'm surprised at how many people will send me like personal information about their life or their relationship and then ask my advice for it, me being a complete stranger to them, who's never met them. But because they've, listened to my videos or heard me talk on these things and they resonate with what I say, they trust my opinion. So they'll send me like really long voice notes or messages about like, this exact situation and what do you think I should do? And I'm like, I'm not your therapist.
Will you come home and meet my mom?
Yeah.
So most of them, I will thank them for, their honesty, and I'll let them know, like, if it is something that I genuinely think would be helpful for more people, like, I'll probably make a video on that in the future. And I do have, like, I have a log of all of the questions that I do feel like maybe I should address this in public. Or in public, to the public, because it, like, some of them are asking very detailed, specific questions, but the underlying question is like, most men probably would actually want to know the answer to that, so maybe I will. So I didn't answer your question at all. I completely dodged it. But I do protect, personal information. So
I feel like the guys that are interacting with you are more like masculine men or more weedy men.
I've had a
soy boy. Yeah,
that's what Jackie called them, soy boys. I feel like most of them are interested in embodying healthy masculinity. Like, most of them, I would say, are more in the masculine realm. But I think that there's like depending on how they're raised or what their beliefs are, like, some of them are like, well, some of them are really aggressive towards women, and them I usually block. And then other ones are usually will say things like, well, why can't, I had one person, this one was interesting, is like, why can't she approach us? And I was like, well, biologically, it's not really a woman's responsibility. Like, it's her job to drop the handkerchief, but it's not her job to pursue. And then I had someone get all up in my grill in the DM or in the comments thread. I was like, well, why do you think women aren't built for pursuit if they're getting all these like degrees and this blah blah? And I'm like, just because we can doesn't mean that's what our biology is hacked out to do. Just because we find a way to do it doesn't necessarily mean that's like complementary for us, especially when it comes to relational dynamics. If you as a man want to be in relationship with a masculine woman who, by the way, will mother you at some point if that's what you want, then by all means you have at it. But if you want to be with a woman who's able to soften and be in her feminine, maybe don't put the expectation that she's going to pursue you. I don't know.
Wait for your balls to drop before you try it.
That's my opinion. But you know, there also like there are some women who genuinely feel safer in their masculine, and I used to be one of them. Like they feel more confident that way, and they don't want to change. And there are men who feel more comfortable in their feminine, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as those people, as long as they couple together and they have a dynamic that works. Like if it works for them, it works for them. That's none of my fucking business. But I speak to masculine feminine dynamics, and typically speaking, a woman wants to be in her feminine in a relationship, and if she doesn't, it's usually because she has wounding that makes her feel unsafe in her feminine. So she's like, I have to be.
Or she's a lesbian.
Well, that's a separate topic. I'm not gonna get into that one. But yeah.
I think the guy is probably asking that because I think a lot of it is assumed. I think with the younger generation, like a lot of guys don't seem like they really approach girls as much. But I think that comes more from now they don't want to be labeled that, you're a weirdo.
I mean, that's sad though that it's at that
because
point.
it wasn't like, I don't know about Dave, you agree with me. It wasn't like that for like us growing up. Like everyone was used to, and probably Miguel would probably say the same thing. Like guys had to make the first approach and talk to the girl and do, but now it's kind of
what you were raised as.
Yeah.
So
now it's like where, to me, this is just what I see going on is it's like, nope, I am a strong woman. You don't need to like her. And so now it's almost standoffish.
Well, yeah, because she's masculine, he's masculine, and though like that's conflict. There's no.
Well, for guys, I think it's more of I don't even think it's a masculine thing. I think it's more of a protection thing. It's more of like, I don't want to be made to.
But it's protective energy, which is still masculine energy.
Yeah, like I don't want to be assumed that I approached her and she didn't like me and this and that. So now they're waiting.
Oh, you mean men protecting themselves?
Yeah,
got it. Okay,
and so I think when you create that environment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some people, I've told them, I'm like, whether it's a guy or a girl talking to you, like you have to at least respect the fact that they made the attempt, rather than being like, oh, this person that I'm not attracted to, what a weirdo to like me. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
You do have to be willing to be wounded in order to get stronger, though.
Yeah.
Poet. Preaching.
He's on a roll, Dave.
Okay.
Dave's saying why shit, he doesn't even know. He's like, what do you mean? What did I just say? The heavens opened up and he poured something out from above, and we're all just like, wow. And he's like, what?
What?
Man, which is a new experience.
Yeah. Miguel, go ahead.
No.
I was saying, Miguel, you have any questions from your experience?
I guess my only question would be like, if you see people coming to you giving you information, giving you their life, and then asking you for the advice, what's one thing you would just tell as a general statement? Like, what would you do for them to figure out what they want out of it?
Well, for my own self and boundaries and coaching, like I just tell them I don't offer free guidance and perspective, just to be like full, because if I do that, I'm gonna drain myself, and I know that. But I will usually let them know, as I mentioned previously, like, this is something I'd really like to speak to. If you're comfortable with it, I'll make a video on this, and then depending on whatever the question is, I'll dive into it. That's usually the extent of what I offer. And if someone is really like, I'm in the shit right now, then I'm like, then let's just hop on a call, and like that's fine with me. Like I'm happy to share my time. It's just I also don't. If I have people continually asking and I continually give, then I have less energy to give to the whole community. So.
Do you feel like going down this road that you're kind of like, dang, I'm opening a can of worms? Like you kind of realize,
I'm
like
open to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been a coach for a long time, and it's like this is stuff that matters to me, and it's stuff that I like. People come to me for advice a lot of the times anyway, so I'm like, I'm comfortable with this. It's just when when I have like a surplus of strangers that want my advice, then I have to also have boundaries around it for my own sanity. But I have no problem with it. I think I have been helped by so many people that offer, like, a lot of the stuff I know because I listened to other people for years and years and years. Their podcasts, I paid for their programs, I did whatever, I did all of the things, and that's how I've learned. And so I feel like it's almost like my duty to pay it forward, but paying it forward doesn't mean I give free advice to everyone. It means that I figure out like what's the most helpful thing I can do, and I provide that for free on my page. And if someone really wants like in-depth, wow, Cleppy, if they want like in-depth for it, then I am available for that, and I'm fine with that. Did I answer your question? Yeah. Okay, I'm just like fielding the questions left and right.
Do you feel like what do you think that you've learned, taken away from all this since you started that, like the series between men and women? Like, is there any takeaways for you that you didn't expect, or is it how you expected?
I think some of it's kind of a double-edged sword. I'm equally shocked by the curiosity that I see in some people and like the level-headedness I see in some people, as I am by the absolute I don't know how to say this without being offensive, retardation of some people.
Yeah.
Like some people just say the most offensive things. Like I got one of the nastiest comments on one of my videos about like my tattoos, and it was like this whole which I was like, I don't care. I don't take this shit personally. I'm very like, it's very easy for me to read that and be like, wow, this person has a lot of issues. I really feel for them.
Yeah. But
But it's shocking to me that people actually will take the time to rip apart a complete stranger over something that I'm like, this isn't even what my video is about. Like,
well, it's social media.
and it's just, so I'm like, I'm not shocked by it. It's just, I've never experienced it. And now that I'm experiencing it, I'm like, wow, this is real. Like people are actually like this.
Oh yeah.
But then
What they
there's
call
also,
trolls, you know.
there's also people who are super level-headed and super curious and like they want to have conversation, like intellectual conversations with each other in the comments about stuff that I'm talking about. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like other people also care about this stuff. And I think the most shocking thing is like people who are strangers or that I don't know very well that follow me like here will come up to me and be like, I really like your videos lately. And I'm like, I don't think I've ever talked to you.
Yeah, see, it like opens the
Or
door
I've
for
talked to you like twice, and but it's super cool that it resonates with people. I think I'm surprised by how much it's resonating with people.
Yeah, it definitely opens the door for conversation. And social, in the social media thing, I've seen that too. Whenever I have like a reel or something, you have people just make off the wall comments. I've just learned that
Sometimes it's really fun.
yeah, honestly, for the most part, I just think that they just have either too much time on their hands, or also, but I also know that this is the way I think me and Dave have talked about this in context. I'm like, you know, to me, I think I've been in a lot of situations where there's a lot of like manly men and very aggressive men. I've never seen guys talk like that to each other without getting their ass beat. So social media to me makes me laugh because I'm like,
funny.
yeah, I'm like, you would never do that in real life. You would like,
Yeah.
you would never talk that
Yeah.
way in real life. You never. So to me, it's like, it kind of just shows, it goes back to just showing like, you're kind of, no one sits there and says, man, this guy's really tough. Look at that comment.
Yeah, right.
So
But
it's,
yeah, that anonymity, you know, where it's like you're not gonna get punched in the mouth.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so-
Everyone's thinking the same. I think a lot of time, what I like about, I think what's going on within our kind of like community, everyone just ignores them for the most part. And a lot of times, I don't even have to comment back. Other guys are already on it, like on them, because I don't want to give any like energy to anything like that. Because I'm just like, nah, I ain't trying to engage. You know, I'm not here to engage with the.
Your posse jumps in and just
Yeah,
throttles the
just
fuck.
throttle them, beat the crap out of them.
There's certain that are like so blatantly disrespectful that I will immediately just like block or delete because I'm like, this doesn't belong in this space.
Yeah.
But it has been interesting. I've had a few people like proactively defend me, which is really nice because I'm like, homie, I don't even know you.
Yeah.
But that again, it's a testament of like some people are just really cool and like these guys that are strangers that now they got my back, and that's like really neat.
Yeah.
That that I can experience that. Someone throws shade at me and then I haven't even seen it, and then I go on and I see shade and then I see someone defending me and I'm like, fuck yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Appreciate that, bro. Was gonna handle it, but you did it for me, so now that's one less thing I gotta do today. So that part's nice.
Well, I guess to wrap it up, me and Dave were gonna announce we're also working with the Peace, Power, and Purpose podcast. So we're trying to build. I was like, trying to think of a name for it because we haven't come up with an official name. A violent community of gentlemen.
There you go.
To that are like working together to actively, basically kind of push like our message. We kind of seen the same issue in the podcast space. We're not pushing like the conspiracy theories. We're not pushing like the red pill stuff of like just bashing women for no reason. And so there's a lot of guys that are now kind of looking more for that message, and that's kind of like where we're kind of going with it. So we, me and Steve and Dave all come with the agreement of how we're going to kind of network for each other, and we kind of plan on bringing other brands into the fold, basically allowing us to do what we're doing, but also supporting each other. And hopefully one day that's going to lead to a kind of more of a live event and a big thing, because all the guys which I like, they're all kind of the same. They either all come from very various backgrounds, but it's either, you know, somewhat of a hard upbringing, military, law enforcement, MMA training. They're business owners. A lot of, I don't know, for some reason, I know a lot of people I know in gyms for some reason, like, and that's, but you know, like Steve is in Nashville, and some of the other guys I'm in are in Arizona, some other places. And I just had a guy hit me up from, I think they're called, it's Violent something. But it's kind of a faith-based brand, but I like that. I think a lot of people are kind of liking that message.
I think you just followed me on Instagram.
Yeah, and that's kind of, and so we're kind of throwing that out there, and I think we're kind of building like on top of that. So that's gonna be, so that's kind of a cool thing for us moving forward. So cool.
Let me know how I can support.
I want you to do like a dancing video where you're dancing, me and Dave were just right there and just doing that.
Just
your shuffle.
Me mugging. If it's real money, I'll do it.
Make it rain.
And then shout out to EZF Media, to Gain Station, the Good Leader Podcast. Do you have anything you want to shout for your branding, your coaching, or anything like that, so people can get a hold of you?
Just me.
I'll type.
Yeah, you can
Like
tell.
That's a selling point right there.
This face, you know, I'm on Instagram. That's the best place to find me at this time.
Good.
Yeah.
Dave, you have anything going on at the gym? We have the Wednesday.
Well, we're still working on coming up with like an advertising scheme to get our class rolling.
Yeah.
You know, so that way we can start in on that.
And there's a Wednesday women's class. We always shout them out.
The snatch class, yeah.
Hell with the snatch. we're saving marriages out here,
right?
It's a
It's brilliant.
It's called bringing home the bacon.
Yeah. All right, that's it.